One day, you will realize that your biggest enemy was never failure, it was distraction. Not lack of talent, but lack of focus. Not the world pulling you down, but your attention being pulled in 100 different directions. The truth is harsh, but it is liberating. The difference between you and the top 1% is not intelligence, not luck, not even opportunity. It is focus. Look around you. We are living in a world where attention is under attack. Notifications, opinions, comparisons, noise, constant noise. And in this chaos, most people lose themselves. They start 10 things, finish none. They dream big, but act small. They stay busy, but never become productive. But the 1%, they are different. They guard their focus like their life depends on it, because it does. They understand that where focus goes, energy flows, and where energy flows, results grow. If you want to change your life, you don't need more time. You need better focus. Focus is your superpower. Focus is not just something you try to have, it is something you decide to protect. In a world that constantly pulls your attention in every direction, focus becomes your greatest advantage. It is your superpower, but only if you choose to use it. Think about it. Every single day, your energy is being divided. A little goes to your phone, a little to social media, a little to other people's opinions, and very little is left for your own dreams. And then you wonder why you feel stuck. It's not because you lack ability, it's because your focus is scattered. The people who reach the top 1% understand something most people ignore. You cannot build something meaningful with a distracted mind. They don't chase everything. They don't jump from one idea to another. They choose one path, one goal, one vision, and they stay with it long enough to see it grow. Focus requires sacrifice. It asks you to let go of what is easy so you can build what is important. It asks you to walk away from distractions that feel good in the moment but cost you your future. And yes, it is hard, because discipline is hard. Ignoring noise is hard. Staying committed when results are not visible is hard. But do you know what is harder? Living a life full of regret. Knowing you had potential but never used it. Realizing you were busy but not productive. When you truly focus, something powerful begins to happen. Your mind becomes sharper. Your decisions become clearer. Your actions become stronger. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter, and you start investing your energy where it actually counts. And slowly, silently, you begin to transform. Because a focused person doesn't need to prove anything to the world. Their results speak for them. So protect your focus like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Guard it from distractions. Train it with discipline. Strengthen it with consistency. Because once you master your focus, you don't just change your habits, you change your entire life. Say no more than you say yes. One of the most powerful habits of the top 1% is not what they say yes to, but what they choose to say no to. Because every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your goals, you are quietly walking away from your own future. Most people struggle with this. They want to please everyone. They want to be available all the time. They say yes to every invitation, every request, every distraction, thinking they are being kind, helpful, or social. But what they don't realize is that in trying to be everything for everyone, they become nothing for themselves. The truth is simple. Your time is limited, and your energy is even more limited. You cannot afford to waste it on things that don't move your life forward. The 1% understand this deeply. They don't spread themselves thin. They don't chase every opportunity that comes their way. Instead, they ask one powerful question before saying yes. Does this align with my purpose? If the answer is no, they walk away without guilt, without explanation, without hesitation. And that is where real power lies. Saying no is not selfish. It is self-respect. It is understanding that your dreams deserve your full attention, not the leftovers of your time and energy. It is realizing that every distraction you accept delays your progress. Sometimes saying no will feel uncomfortable. People might not understand. They might question you. They might even judge you. But you have to remember you are not here to live according to their expectations. You are here to build your own path. You don't need to attend every gathering. You don't need to reply instantly to every message. You don't need to say yes just to avoid disappointing someone, because every unnecessary yes is a silent betrayal of your goals. When you start saying no more often, something incredible happens. You create space, space to think, space to grow, space to focus on what truly matters. Your life becomes less chaotic and more intentional. And that's how the 1% move forward, not by doing more, but by doing less of what doesn't matter. So learn to say no with confidence. Protect your time, protect your energy, protect your focus. Because at the end of the day, your success will not be defined by how many people you pleased, but by how committed you stayed to your purpose. Discipline beats motivation. Motivation feels powerful in the moment. It gives you a rush of energy, a spark that makes you feel unstoppable. You watch something inspiring, you feel excited, and you tell yourself, this is it. This is my turning point. But then, a few days later, that feeling fades. The excitement disappears. And suddenly, everything feels heavy again. This is where most people stop, because they were depending on motivation. But the 1%, they don't rely on how they feel. They rely on discipline. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. It is doing the work when no one is watching. It is staying committed when progress feels slow and results are invisible. It is choosing your future over your current comfort again and again and again. Motivation will tell you work when you feel inspired. Discipline will tell you work no matter how you feel. And that is the difference. The truth is, your mood is unpredictable. Some days you will feel strong, focused, and ready to conquer the world. Other days, you will feel tired, distracted, and unmotivated. If you only act on your good days, your progress will always be inconsistent. But discipline creates stability. It builds a routine that doesn't depend on emotions. It trains your mind to move forward even when everything inside you wants to quit. And over time, those small, consistent actions turn into massive results. The 1% understand that success is not built in bursts of motivation. It is built in quiet, daily effort. It is built in the mornings when you don't want to wake up, but you do. It is built in the moments when you feel like giving up, but you choose to continue. That's where real strength is created. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about showing up even when you're not at your best, because you know that progress matters more than perfection. And here's the truth most people ignore. The life you want is on the other side of the work you keep avoiding. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop depending on motivation to carry you. Build discipline. Strengthen it daily. Protect it like your greatest asset. Because when you become disciplined, you don't just chase success, you become unstoppable. Eliminate distractions. Ruthlessly, distractions are silent destroyers. They don't come into your life looking dangerous. They come disguised as comfort, entertainment, and harmless habits. A quick scroll turns into hours. One notification becomes a chain of interruptions. And before you realize it, your time is gone and your goals are still waiting. This is how focus is stolen, not all at once, but little by little. The 1% understand something most people ignore. You cannot live a focused life in a distracted environment. It's not just about willpower. It's about what surrounds you every single. If your phone is always in your hand. Your focus is already compromised. If your environment is noisy and chaotic, your mind will reflect the same chaos. If you constantly allow interruptions, you train your brain to never go deep. And without deep focus, there is no real progress. That's why the 1% take distractions seriously. They don't treat them lightly, they eliminate them ruthlessly. They turn off unnecessary notifications. They set boundaries around their time. They create spaces where they can think, work, and grow without interruption. Because they know that every distraction is a delay. Every interruption breaks momentum. And once momentum is broken, it takes time and energy to rebuild it again. But this is not just about your environment, it's also about your habits. You have to be honest with yourself. What is stealing your time? What is draining your energy? What is keeping you busy but not productive? Is it social media? Is it overthinking? Is it constantly checking your phone for validation? Whatever it is, you must face it and then remove it. Because the life you want requires a level of focus that distractions simply cannot coexist with. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Silence will feel strange. You will feel the urge to go back to your old habits, but that discomfort is a sign that you are breaking free from what once controlled you, and that's where growth begins. When you eliminate distractions, you create clarity. Your mind becomes calmer, your thoughts become sharper, your actions become more intentional. And suddenly, you start moving faster, not because you are doing more, but because you are no longer wasting energy on what doesn't matter. So be ruthless with your distractions. Cut them off without apology. Protect your environment. Guard your time. Because every moment you save from distraction is a moment you invest into becoming who you are meant to be. Focus on growth, not noise. The world is full of noise. Opinions, criticism, comparisons, expectations. Everyone has something to say. And if you are not careful, you will spend your entire life listening to voices that were never meant to guide you. This is where most people lose their focus. They start chasing validation instead of growth. They begin to measure their worth based on what others think instead of what they are becoming. They get distracted by trends, by competition, by the constant need to be seen. But the 1%, they choose a different path. They don't focus on being noticed. They focus on becoming better, quietly, consistently, relentlessly. They understand that noise is temporary, but growth is permanent. You see, when you focus on noise, your energy gets scattered. One day you're motivated, the next day you're doubting yourself because of someone else's opinion. One moment you feel confident, the next moment you feel behind because you compared your journey to someone else's highlight. And that's a dangerous place to be. Because comparison kills confidence. And noise destroys clarity. The 1% protect themselves from this trap. They don't let outside voices control their inner direction. They don't allow temporary opinions to interfere with long-term goals. Instead, they ask themselves a simple question every day. Am I better than I was yesterday? That's it. They are not competing with the world. They are competing with their past self. They measure progress in discipline, in consistency, in learning, not in likes, not in attention, not in approval. And that's why they keep growing, even when no one is watching. You have to understand this. Not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone will support your vision. Some people will doubt you. Some will criticize you. Some will try to distract you. Let them. Because their noise is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is your growth, your focus, your discipline. When you stop listening to noise, you start hearing your own voice more clearly. You start trusting your path. You start moving with purpose instead of confusion. And that is where real power lies. So don't chase attention. Don't chase validation. Don't let the noise define you. Focus on growing every single day in every possible way. Because in the end, success doesn't come to those who are the loudest. It comes to those who stay focused long enough to become unstoppable. In the end, protecting your focus is not just a strategy, it is a way of life. It is the quiet decision you make every single day to choose your goals over distractions, your purpose over pressure, and your growth over comfort. The world will always try to pull you in different directions, but you must decide where your energy truly belongs. Because when you take control of your focus, you take control of your future. You stop drifting and you start moving with intention. You stop reacting and you start creating. And that is the moment your life begins to change. Remember, the 1% are not special. They are simply consistent in what most people ignore. They protect their time, guard their energy, and stay committed when it's hard, not just when it's easy. And you have that same power within you. The only question is, will you use it? Will you rise above the noise, the excuses, and the distractions? Because if you do, there is nothing ordinary left in your path. Only growth, only purpose, and a version of you that refuses to settle for anything less than greatness.